Hello and good morning. I hope everything is well. Put your name, date, and period. Today is 9:30, Monday. This is week 8. Okay. Let's take a look here. What if your bank statement doesn't match your check register? What do? Well, you have to reconcile. And reconcile means that you find any outstanding checks or any outstanding deposits. This one right here, number 2, interest equals principal times rate times time. The principal is $450. The rate, you need to move your decimal 2 places, so it's 0.065. And you're keeping it in there for 7 years. Remember, time is always expressed in years. So for A, it's 7. But for B, it's going to be 7 divided by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So make sure you understand the difference. So for A, get your calculator out. 450 times 0.065 times 7 right here. And that gives you 204.75. That's your interest. That's how much money you make after 7 years. All right, this one right here, however, is going to be 450 times 0.065 times 7. And then after you do that, press equals, and then divide by 12. So you're going to make $17 and whatever that is, 0.06. Okay, so remember that time, when you take your test this weekend, test number 2, is expressed in years. If it's 5 days, you would do divided by 365. Okay? If it's weekly, like 7 weeks, you would divide by 52 because there's 52 weeks in a year. Write that down. All right, let's take a look here. Time is always expressed in years. All right, today you have a worksheet. And there are some problems that are called work backwards. If you can't be with us, you can copy the worksheet off the video. Okay? The back side looks like this. Now on the back side, it's called extended. So you see here, how long? So they're looking for time. So you would set it up the same way. The loan is taken out for this much. So that's your principal. The time is 0.07, or the percentage rate, but you're looking for the time. So put a T. That's your rate. Okay? And you made the cost is 509.60. So you got to take this number and divide by that one, and then divide by that one. So this is called work backwards. These are a little harder. All right, let's move on now to college algebra. Okay, so college algebra, let's take a look here. You have a chart that I asked you to memorize. And by the way, period 4, I got to give you a worksheet, so make sure I give you that. It's not really a worksheet, it's something from the office you got to get filled out. So a plus and a plus, 2 pluses. A minus and a plus, 2 minuses. A plus and a minus, minus, minus. These are going to be a plus and a minus, and you subtract. These you add. Okay, so on this one right here, it's division. Remember, if it's division, you got to keep it, change it, and flip it. So keep it, change it, and flip it. And when you do that, this cancels, so you get 7. 7 over 1. This one right here is number 18, and I promised someone before the storm that I would work this one. First thing I would do is factor this top one. So you're going to factor out a 2 because they all have a 2, maybe bigger. So it's going to be 5b squared plus 21b plus 18, I think it is. Okay? When you get to this point, you got to multiply 5 times 18. So 5 times 18 equals. When you take your test this weekend, test number 2, this weekend, you got to know how to do these. So you got to factor this to get 21. And a plus and a plus, you're looking for something that adds. Now, I don't know what it is, but let's just try something. Let's try 9 times 10. 9 times 10 is going to add up to give you 19. We don't want 19, we want that. Okay? So let's go 12 times something. I don't know if 12 goes. So 90 divided by 12. Nope, it doesn't work. 90 divided by 14. I mean, you just got to keep trying, okay? So 8's not going to work, I don't think. So we got to come up with something. And as you can see, I'm not real sure. So what I'm going to do is just have to break it down. That times that is 91, I don't want that. 2 I think does go into 90, so 90 divided by 2. So you can see this is 45, but when I add that I get 47. 3 times 30, that's 33. Okay, I think I'm getting closer. 4, let's try 4. So 90 divided by 4 equals, it doesn't work. 5 is 18. And if you add that up, it looks like you're going to get 23. So we're close. Let's try 6. Is 15. That's it. Okay? But again, I couldn't figure that one out on my own. I had to do breaking it down without missing anything. So I want to substitute here. So I'm going to say 5b squared plus 6b plus 15b plus 18. Remember? Group factor. So here you're going to take out a b, and you're left with 5b plus 6. Here, that's a plus. Here you're going to take out a 3, I think. So it's going to be plus 3 times 5b plus 6. Remember, this should be the same as that. So these are a lot of work. So now you're going to get b plus 3 times 5b plus 6. But you factored out a 2. So don't forget that 2. All right? So it took a lot of work to get to this point. Now you got to break a 2 out of here. So on that one, I'm going to go over here to the side and take a 2 out. So I get 3b squared minus b minus 30. 2 times 30 is 60. Once I do that, I have to do 3 times 30. Well, 3 times 30 is 90. I'm looking for a 1. It's got to be 9 times 10. 9 times 10 subtracts to give me a 1. So I want to substitute. So I'm going to say 3b squared, 9b, 10b minus 30. And then here I want to minus with that because that's my middle sign. I'm going to factor out a 3b, and I'm left with b plus 3. Here I'm going to factor out a negative 10, and I'm left with b plus 3. When I do that, I get b plus 3, and then 3b minus 10. So it's a lot of work. But we also factored out a 2. So down here, we're going to have a 2. We're going to have a b plus 3. We're going to have a 3b minus 10. This cancels. We can get rid of it right now because it's right on top. Now it's division, so you want to change this to times. All right? And I kind of ran out of room right here. Let me slide it up a little bit. I kind of ran out of room right here, so I'm going to put this part, the second part, over here. Okay? So stay with me. Now here, I got to figure out what to factor out of here. I think I can factor out a 4. So let's try that. So it's going to be 4 times 10 is 40 plus 12. But this, I could take out a 2. If I could take out a 2, 2 times 4 is 8. So I should have taken out an 8. So it should be 8 times 5b plus 6 times 8 is 48 plus 6. So right here, now again, when you flip it, this is going to go on the bottom. So down here is going to be 8 times 5b plus 6. Okay? And that's going to cancel with that. And you can cancel because it's times. And now you got to do this one. I'm almost done. This one I can't factor out a 3. So 3 times 10 is going to give me 30. I'm looking for something that's going to add, because a negative and a positive. So that's going to be 3 times 10, and that adds. So I'm going to substitute. So I'm going to say 3b squared, 3b, 10b, plus 10. They're both negatives. So I'm going to factor out a 3 and a b. When I factor out a 3 and a b, I'm left with b plus 1, or minus 1. And then here I'm going to factor out a 10, a negative 10, and I'm left with b minus 1. And so now I'm going to get 3b minus 10. So right up here, because I flipped it, I'm going to get 3b minus 10, and then whatever this is, b minus 1. And then here I can cancel this right here. So on your test, the only thing that's left after you did all this work is b minus 1 over 8. So it's a lot of work. Number 18 on your worksheet was a lot of work. I would suggest that you rework this one because it's got a lot of good factoring, hard factoring, but a lot of good factoring. All right, now we're going to move on. We're actually going on to chapter 1. Everything else was a prerequisite or review. So look here, copy that down, and graph that line. And actually, no, see if these points are a solution for that line. Are these points on that line? Well, this is your x and y. So you're going to put 13 for your y right here, and then you're going to put a 2 right there. So you're going to get 20, right? 2 times 10 is 20 minus 7. And if you do that, you get 13 is equal to 13. Yes, this one is on the line. On this one, you're going to substitute your y. And when you do that, you got to see if they're equal. So here I'm going to get a negative 10 minus 7. That gives me a negative 17. These are not the same. So this one is no, it's not on the line. So to determine if a point is on the line, you substitute. This one right here, to graph it, you want to get y equals mx plus b. Copy that down. Draw your line, circle your y. So you want to get rid of this by subtracting, because this is a plus, minus 3x. Now you can't add these or subtract those because they're not like terms. So you're going to get y equals negative 3x plus 7. There's a plus right here. And you want the x first. Okay? So this is called your y-intercept. This is your y-axis. So you're going to go up 7. You can count them if you want. And then put a 1 under here. This is rise, but it's a negative. So you got to go down. Down 3. 1, 2, 3. And this is a plus. Go to the right 1. And there's your line. It's a negative slope. Negative slope. Okay? This one right here is a parabola. This one is a square, so it's going to be a U. Up, down, right, or left. So if you look here, you got to make a table. I usually start with 0 in the middle. I go negative 1, and then I go negative 2, or positive 1, rather. Okay, copy that down. Let's see what happens. 0 squared is 0, and 0 minus 2 is a negative 2. Negative 1 squared is 1, and 1 minus 2 is a negative 1. 1 squared is 1, and 1 minus 2 is a negative 1. If these are the same, then this is your vertex. So you graph it. You go over 0, down 2, negative 1, down 1, over 1, down 1. This is a parabola that looks like that. Now, if this is not your vertex right here, then you might have to add more points until you figure out where it turns. This point right here where it turns is called your vertex. Okay? To find the x and y intercepts, it's just where the line crosses the x-axis and where it crosses the y-axis. Those are called intercepts. Okay? Now, fourth period, I need to give you some papers. Make sure I do that right now. Today you have a worksheet which is graphing lines, and it looks like this. So if you can't be with us, you can write it down. This one right here is a special case. Put a star by that and try and do it, and I'll show you in class. I don't want you to forget the special cases. A special case is either going to be a vertical line or a horizontal line. For example, if I tell you x is equal to -3, this is your x. So all you do is go -3, and you notice this tick mark is going up, so your line goes up. Like that. All right, that's it for today. Have a good morning, and I'll see you in class.